Today, the Proud Boys and Trump supporters descended on downtown Washington, D.C. To show support for U.S. President Donald Trump and to basically um, march peacefully in the area, which they have a right to do. You may not agree with their political ideology or their societal contract and what they represent. But if you are a true adherent to the constitutional principles, they have every right to freedom of assembly. But just as I was predicting throughout the afternoon, as the sun started to go down, the sisterhood of the Proud Boys, Antifa, as well as some adherents of the group Black Lives Matter, descended on to the downtown area as well, and they grossly outnumbered the over-exaggerated numbers of the Proud Boys and the Trump supporters, in which I must say that because I don't have any political affiliation between left and right, and I don't support these divisive entities, I must say that at this juncture today, the violence purely came from these fervent quasi-leftists, Antifa. I don't know whether it was purported by Black Lives Matter, although on Twitter it seems that they were proponents of BLM also as well. But you could see that there was a mixture of these groups that were attacking even women and children because they were daring to fly a different color flag. And this is the poison of politics. And it's not just politics. This is a deep-rooted problem, a problem that's often overlooked. If we are to look at how the individual is raised to believe in such a divisive, fraternal ideology and belief, why they would attack their fellow man because they believe in a different political principle. This is a blame that I can show multifold to a different number of areas. And one of them, of course, I think is the primary enemy of the American people is the legacy media. And for decades and decades, through slow manipulation and op-ed pieces, this is what the media is. Basically, it's just a divisive agency led by a number. I think it was 6 or 7 corporations that are in charge of the entire legacy media. So they control the narrative, whether it be far left, far right. One day it's far left, one day it's far right. It could be centric, independent. They don't have a uniformity. These are actors, and the people who are purporting this information, well, it's misinformation, are actors. These are millionaires: Sean Hannity, Don Lemon, anybody from Chuck Scarborough, so many, Bill Moy. I mean, so many people that are disenfranchised from the common public because they don't live within the common public. These are people who are bought and paid for by corporate entities, as well as entities close to the Pentagon, and as well as the intelligence services, mainly the CIA. And so they purport these narratives coming from these agencies as well, which are, of course, selected by the CEOs, the producers, and the editors. And it goes right down to the basic slaves that are purporting this misinformation to the common public. Why are we protesting this? Why are we showing solidarity to a single politician like Donald Trump, like Joe Biden? This is divisive, and it's not inclusive of the uniformity of the American public. Whereas our dissatisfaction for legacy media, which would employ everybody. I mean, everybody from the left and right knows that the media basically lies, but only if it's not catering to their political views. A leftist will always defend CNN. Someone from the right will always defend OAN, and not so much Fox these days, or Newsmax. This is, of course, just one area. Another area is economic regress in this country. We are suffering, bleeding out of pocket, which is causing so much stress within this country and so much discontent that is basically destroying the American fabric mentally, inward, within. Added to the fact of the manipulation of the legacy media, which is another mental anomaly meant to regress and not progress the individual mind. So basically, this is about destroying the individual and conforming people into groups. And these groups have to always be in conflict with one another, because what they fear is uniformity. The individual, but having the individual state of mind, the creative, rational, independent state of mind that is disassociated away from human constructs that are divisive or dependent upon the welfare of the state. And with the current atmosphere of COVID-19 and the looming prospect for another shutdown nationwide, or in most states even, the economic ramifications from this are going to be tenfold as opposed to the physical losses from this virus. There's not a winning solution here. That went out the door as soon as our federal government on the state and local and federal level failed us as a people. You're not even going to get a stimulus package in the winter. Not this year anyway. They're talking about the spring, maybe. So this is what your federal government of the left and right think of you. And meanwhile, you're out in the streets fighting each other, destroying each other from within. Meanwhile, they're sitting back, watching. They don't have to do anything. They already set these devices in motion in order for you to destroy each other because of the avenues I was just talking about. The entities involved in destroying you from within. And this is not an overnight process. This is a slow, incremental process which took years and years, and it's finally being taken advantage of. But this political fervent atmosphere was something that you could see was evolving over time. And it's only going to get worse because of our ignorance regarding the very political institutions that we adhere to. You just have to become finally aware that the applications that are being employed into your mind is not what the real world is about. It's meant to destroy you. And how they do it is that you destroy each other little by little. There's only one winner here, and it's the federal government. Because if the left and right were to engage in class warfare, and that's what this is, class warfare, the poor and rich, meanwhile the poor are fighting each other, There might be a single winner between the left and right, but you're not the winner. You're just next. You'll be too damaged to fight against the very entity who made you fight each other in the first place. And I know that this message ain't going to reach many people, but I'm hopeful that maybe I can get one or two people to finally realize that the situation that is presented before us right now is not what the real world is being displayed to us. It's not a black and white situation. It's very gray. And there's a lot of factors at play here. But we're going to need one another to confront these entities who are manipulating these factors against us.